Today, we're diving into an absolutely remarkable story of reconnection, one that spans 4 whole centuries. We're heading to Yemen, a land just steeped in ancient tradition, to explore how a community, after being separated from its spiritual heart for so long, began this incredible journey to reclaim its lost legacy. To really get this story, you first have to picture the place. Just listen to this description from our source material. It just perfectly captures the essence of Yemen, this land of terraced mountains, sublime landscapes, a place that feels almost untouched by time. And it's this very land that was the cradle for the Dawoodi Bohra community for almost 400 years. So, this raises a really profound question, right? What does happen? Imagine being separated from your heritage, your traditions, your spiritual leadership, not for a year, not for a decade, but for generations. What's left? And what on earth does it take to bridge such a massive gap in time? This is the central challenge we're going to explore. All right, so how did this separation even happen in the first place? Well, this whole story of reconnection is actually rooted in a really deep and painful history of persecution and isolation. This timeline, wow. It really puts the sheer scale of this separation into perspective. For almost 400 years, Yemen was the center of the Dawoodi Bohra faith. But then, in 1539, terrible persecution forced the leadership to move all the way to India. And that move created this immense 400-year gap that left the entire Yemeni community completely isolated. And you can imagine the consequences of that isolation were just profound. Under constant pressure and with no direct guidance, their practices and their beliefs, well, they started to drift. They changed. By the 20th century, the connection was almost entirely gone. This wasn't just a physical separation. It was a deep, deep cultural and spiritual one, too. But then, a turning point. After 4 centuries of silence, a journey began to finally bridge that gap. This next part is all about that return and the beginning of a truly monumental mission. 1961, that's the year everything started to change. This was when the community's leader, Syedna Mohammed Burhanuddin, made his first historic visit to Yemen. His goal? It was to find his long-lost followers and to start re-establishing those broken links of their shared heritage. The significance of this whole mission is really captured in this title he was given. His work was so successful that his father named him Mansur-al-Yemen, which means the aided one in Yemen. This wasn't just some honor. It was a powerful recognition that this incredibly difficult task of reconnection, it wasn't just possible, it was destined for success. So, the mission really had 2 clear intertwined goals. First, reconnect spiritually with the roughly 12,000 members of the community living out in the rural Bohras district. And second, to actively improve their lives, to contribute to their social and economic well-being. It was about showing that faith engages with the practical, real-world parts of life. But here's the thing, this mission went way beyond just sermons and speeches. The reconnection was actually built on tangible, transformative projects that literally reshaped both the landscape and the community's future. Okay, at the very heart of this mission was the Al-Hutaib Restoration Project. And just look at these steps. It started with the absolute basics, building a road to a place that was almost completely inaccessible. Then, restoring the sacred shrine of Syedna Hatim, a pivotal figure in their history. They built new infrastructure and even laid stone steps up a steep mountain path, literally making the journey of faith easier for every single person. And the results? They were absolutely stunning. What was once this remote, barren area was completely transformed. With new landscaping, rock gardens, and even electrical lighting, Al-Hutaib became this beautiful, welcoming destination for both pilgrims and tourists. The before and after here is just incredible. But what's so crucial to understand is how they built all this. They didn't just come in and impose some foreign style. No, the project was a deep homage to Yemen itself. They used local stones, red, black, green, and they meticulously respected the traditional architecture, with its beautiful arched windows and geometric designs. This was about restoring a legacy, not replacing it. And the transformation went way beyond just buildings. The mission addressed the community's core needs. In agriculture, they encouraged farmers to switch from growing the stimulant khat to more profitable cash crops like mocha coffee. They set up a water scheme for a population that was spread out all over the place. And they focused on strengthening the social fabric itself. And this is just a beautiful detail.
They organized the first ever mass marriage function in Yemen, uniting 102 couples all at once. An event like that does so much more than just create families. It reinforces community bonds and creates this powerful shared memory that weaves everyone back together.
Now, it's really important to zoom out for a second and see that the work in Yemen wasn't some isolated event. It was actually a cornerstone of a much broader global spiritual mission that Syedna Mohammed Burhanuddin undertook throughout his entire life. So, after forging these new links in Yemen, the journey continued. He traveled to other hugely significant sites of faith, like Damascus, Kerbala, and Jordan. This just shows a continuous effort to connect his followers all over the world with their shared history and spiritual roots. And his meetings with world leaders, like being welcomed as a state guest by the King of Jordan, that really underscores the respect this mission earned on the world stage. And just to give you a sense of the spiritual depth of these journeys, think about this. When he visited the shrine of Maulana Jafar Tayyar in Jordan, it's a pilgrimage to a figure so revered that the Prophet himself is quoted as saying that he resembled him in creation and character. That just adds another whole layer of meaning to the entire mission. So at the end of the day, all of these efforts, from building roads in Yemen to these pilgrimages across the Middle East, they're all driven by a very practical philosophy. It's the belief that faith isn't just an abstract idea, it's a complete guide for life, one that encompasses both our spiritual well-being and our socioeconomic prosperity. You know, the story of the Dawoodi Bohras in Yemen is just this powerful testament to revival. It really shows that by carefully, respectfully, and practically reconnecting with a lost past, a community can do more than just reclaim its identity. It can build a much stronger, more prosperous foundation for its future.